Hi guys, welcome back to another Craft With Me video. Today we are going to be using these little hanger charms that I purchased quite a while ago, and they've just been sitting there in my craft space, and so I decided let's make something with them. I think I got these from either Amazon or Temu, but wherever I find them I will link them down below. And these are just cute little metal hanger charms. You can see the little hole there. And I had been wanting to do some type of, I guess, like a dress tassel or something. So let me show you what I made. First of all, look at how cute these are. Look at how cute these are. And I thought because it's a little charm, we can actually add, you can add like a little bulb pin with one of those little those clips, and then you can actually add this to maybe a junk journal or something, like as a tassel. And so I thought that these were really cute, and I'll show you how they'll look on a junk journal later on. But this is what I wanted to do, and so let's take this off and let me show you. So all it is ribbon and trims. That's all it is. And hot glue. Look at this one. This one was the first one I made, and this ribbon is like that floral ribbon, so it's really stiff, but I covered it in some lace that I had, like a roll of lace, and these little things are just off of this. I just cut everything apart, that little trim. And I made little cap sleeves with little pieces of of the crochet ribbon. And there we have it. And then I thought, you know what? If you have a dress form, like a dress die cut, I have this one. Again, I think it might be from Temu or Amazon, but it came in a pack of like 4 or 5. And I thought that this top part was the perfect I guess form that I needed in order to make a smaller one, and I made this one. And see, what I did was I cut this not at the very edge, I cut it at the fold when I put it through, so I didn't want to cut this ends off here, and so I did it to where it was practically, see that? I practically left the tiniest bit so that it wouldn't cut those shoulder straps. And so like that, I was able to bring this and put this inside and then just glue the rest of it down. And then I started forming the skirt from this. And so we'll see if we have enough time to do that, but that's what I did for that one. And so you can see that the dress is actually under here. Look at that. But not bad, right? I think they're really, really cute. And so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how I made this bigger one, because this, you're only making the skirt. This, you're actually making the top part. And all I did was just kind of keep rolling it over and over and over around the shoulders. And so it's super easy. So let me show you what I did. We're going to grab one of these. I'm going to try to do a black one this time. This ribbon, it doesn't really matter, but this one is 7/8 of an inch. So I would say anything under an inch would be really good for this. And so all we're going to do, and make sure you have your your hot glue gun ready. So we're going to be doing this. See, now this is actually off. This one is a little bit smaller, the beige. But that's okay, we're gonna make it work. So this is what I'm doing. I'm going to just keep going like this. See that? And we'll glue everything down. So this will be at the top. So again, we're going to make this, I think I'm gonna make it a little bit longer, because I want to be able to attach my skirt to it. So maybe this much, and I'll tell you what the measurement is in a minute. So this is about 3.5 inches. So let's do another one, 3.5. And we're going to wrap it this way at an angle off one shoulder. Okay. So it's here at an angle. And then I'm going to hold this in place, and I'm going to add glue here and here on the hanger. Okay. And we're going to close this off just to make sure that it sticks to the hanger. Okay. And we could do the same thing to this side. Because it's hollow, you're going to make sure that you add it to the raised portions of it. And that will keep it on. Just the little stragglers of the glue. And then we're going to do the same thing for this side, and we're going to crisscross it. And that will be our top part. Make sure that it's even. And then do the same on the back. Actually, this already caught, so I'm just going to leave it. And then we'll glue down these ends. So just a little line of glue. And there we have it. Now you can keep adding if you want, but I think this is okay. So there is the top part. And now I'm just going to trim this off so I know where my waist should be. And so this is where I'm going to start adding for the skirt. Super simple. So I'm going to be using this, and this is a roll that I got from Hobby Lobby, and it's called Silk Like Cut Edge Ribbon in Plum. And this one is 1.5 inches, and it's 100% polyester. So you can see that it's very flimsy, and I like that. You can use satin as well. Actually, you can use any type. But what I do, this is actually I think this is this is 4 inches. I did 6 4-inch strips. And so with this, I'm going to just fold that like this in a S shape. See that? Then I'm going to add a dot of glue here and a dot of glue on the inside just to make it like a little pleat. And all I'm going to do is just squish it in place. I'm going to do it one more time. So again, just making an S shape. And then adding glue to each side of the fold, and there we have it. Okay, now I did 6, so I already did the other ones. And now we can do the fun part of adding our little things to the skirt. Okay, so this goes like this. And I'm just going to keep adding all the way around. So let's add glue to this. I need to add a tiny bit more glue to that edge there. And we're just going to keep going around. Okay. Let me move my scissors. And we're just going to overlap them. And that's it. We're just going to go all the way around. And then this little piece I'm going to put around this way. And then I'm going to go on the back. Put it here. And just keep going around. And then this will lap all the way over. And it doesn't matter what side you add your glue to. And so this, I'm going to put it right here on the edge, and I'm going to make it go all the way around. And there is the beginnings of our skirt. See that? And now we can add the fun part, and I like to add little strips of lace or trim. I just happen to have this lace. It's a little thicker than everything else that I've been using, but I think it's going to look cool. And so we're just going to add a few pieces. I still cut out 6. I wasn't sure how much I wanted to do, but that's okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit of glue. So because this is lace, you might want to be careful if you have one of those silicone tips that you put on your finger. So like that, you don't get burned, but I'm used to using hot glue, so I'm really not worried about it. So I am going to add a little bit of glue to this. And I'm going to start off here on the side and put this around and press that down. Okay. And then I'm going to keep moving. I think I'm going to keep moving this way. So let's add another little bit of glue here. Add this, overlapping it, and then pressing that down. Now by the time I press it down, it's not even hot, so. And then we're going to add a little belt on it. So I want my lace to go in the same direction. So just adding a little bit of glue and overlapping it. Okay. And then keep going. It's going this way, so I'm going to put glue here. It does get a little messy because of the glue. See, I touched it here, but we can get rid of that with a lighter. Okay, and I think I'm going to add one more to the back. And put this way. And there is that. I wanted it to be a little bit fuller, but we're working with what we got. Now I got all these glue on my fingertips. Okay. So there is this. Cute, right? Now, if you're careful and you have a lighter, if you get a little bit of glue where you don't want it, for example, right there, disappears. Very lightly, I put it around and it'll disappear so you don't see it. Okay, so there is this one. I'm going to kind of manipulate this a little bit so that it's a little bit fuller. There, much better. Okay, and then we can add our belt. I have this, and this is just another little trim. 5/16 of an inch thick. And look at how pretty this is. You see that? And I'm going to start in the back, put it here, and then we're going to wrap it all the way around. So let's do that. I'm going to add the glue to this trim right in the center, and you want to put it a little bit above where our skirt is. Okay, now I'm going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to cut right where I need it, so I'm not using too much. About here, I think. Now again, I'm just going to use the lighter just to kind of get away from all of the little, so that it doesn't shed or strip or whatever you want to call it. Okay, now I'm going to add glue to the rest of this. Maybe about to here. Wrap it around. See that? And then do to the rest. And wrap it around. See, look at how easy this came together. See that? Now we can add our little trims and everything. Look at how pretty that is. I love that. Okay, I have this, and I think I might want to use this kind of how I did with this one and add this like that. I should have done that before, but I think I'm going to just do it here on the sleeves. Just a little bit right here. So it'll stop about here. So let's trim this off. And I think I'm going to do it twice. So I need to make sure that I'm cutting at the same spot. And this, again, I get all of my crochet trim with ball. This is from Hobby Lobby. Sorry, I got glue all over my fingers and it's getting on my nerves. Now this, I'm gonna put it just like this. See how cute that's gonna look? So I'm going to add glue. I have it where I want it, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue to this edge here, and I'm gonna fold it over. Okay. And then I'm gonna do the back. Add a little bit of glue. So you don't want to push your little glue trigger thing too much. See that? And then I can go back with my lighter. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, it's going to be about here. So again, I'm holding it in the back so that I can put this up to the front. And then we're doing the same thing. So let's just add a little bit. Just to take away all of the little threads of glue that kind of come out. So here we have it so far. And I have these, and these are just like the half pearls. So let me get my tweezers. I think I can put maybe I don't know if I have any smaller ones. Oh, I do. I can make little buttons. then I can add this probably right here as a little, yeah. Or I should do silver, so like that it'll kind of show through a little bit more, right? Yeah, I think the silver might be better than the black. Give me 1 second. So that's the bigger one, so I'm probably going to put that one there. But I need some smaller silver ones. Here's another one. I think maybe with two little buttons and then that one. So let's see how we're going to do this. Okay, let's see. I'm going to add just a drop. Add that there. Okay. And then I'm going to add one more. A drop. Add that there. And then we'll add this right here. What do we think? Oh, I think it's cute. And there, my friends, is it. I think we're done with this one. See, look. And how long? 20 minutes? Maybe less because I was talking so much. But there it is. There is our little dress tassel for your journals. Now, let me show you how I did this one. So let's do this one in, let's see. Maybe we'll do green on this one. Green with beige, or I have this one. This one's probably better. So again, I just cut these on a fold, and you just make sure that you don't bring up the die too far up. So let's do this one, and I have some green that I want to use. And so I just bring this through, and then I hold it down, and I'm going to use my glue, and I'm just going to add glue here, and then add the glue here. And this is not going anywhere. Look at that. It's cute like that, actually. But we're going to make a little skirt. So let me put my little topper back on here. And then move these out of the way. I'm going to cut. Now this, I don't even know where I got this from. Holiday ribbon. Is this from JADENS maybe? So this one I'm probably going to do maybe 3 inches because 4 inches seems to be too much. So let me trim that, and I'll do 3 inches for this one. So let's quickly put this together. I'm gonna cut maybe 5. This is 3. Doesn't have to be exact. We can always trim it later. And this is kind of like a, I don't know what this is. This is like a satiny. For one more. Five. Okay, I don't know what this is. Does it say here? No. But there's that. And then I think I'm going to add beige. I have beige trim, so let me grab that. Like this taupey color. We'll use this. So let's see if I have enough. I should. I only have a little bit left of this one. So 3 inches, about here. So let me do 5. Let's see how long it takes me to adjust to the skirt. You can fast forward this. I'm just doing 5 for the smaller one. Again, I get all my ribbon from Hobby Lobby. Okay. Now we're going to get our glue gun, and we're going to do the little S shape again. Just press that. Keep going. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to see it. You're going to cover it with the belt anyway. We're going to leave the strips of the lace. We're not going to do anything to that. We're just going to add it flat. Making a little S fold. And there we have it. Okay. Okay, so now we can make this. I'm going to put it just a tiny bit under the waist area because that's where I want. Actually, let me see. I could do it on the waist. That probably might be better anyway. Let me trim off this part because I don't want little stragglers of the shedded part to show. So let's just go ahead and start gluing. So I'm just going to start adding. Okay. And just keep layering. That's all we're doing. Cut these little pieces off. And then add these on the back. Now you don't have to add anything to the back if you don't want to, but depending on how it's going to lay, goes this way, against your journal, you might want to, only so that you don't see like an empty space on the back. Okay. Look how pretty that looks. Now we're just going to go, and this one has a right and wrong side. So there's these flowers that are raised, they're flat on this side. So just keeping that in mind. So these, again, I'm just going to layer on top. Start wrapping this around. And last one. Okay. Now let me get the little trim that I'm going to use for the belt. And I do have beige. Where's it at? Here. I just really like this one for this particular project. It's just enough thickness for the belt. I am going to try and singe just a little bit the edges so that it doesn't run. And then let me see how we're going to do this. Yeah. So I'm doing it right above the skirt. I'm not doing it on it because otherwise it's going to make the waist look really, really thick. So I'm going to trim around here and with the lighter, seal that shut. And then we're going to start from the back. Add a little line of glue. Put this back here. And then we're going to go all the way around. And then the last part's going to go right on the trim here. And then carefully, see that? And there is our teeny tiny one. Now again, I can add little pearls. I have these little ones, and these are actually stickers. And so I can add maybe one of the medium-sized ones. Because they're stickers, I can just stick it right on. Okay. And maybe I'll add, I did add like a little flower bit. Let me trim off one of these. I'm going to get my other scissors for this. Trim off one of these little flowers. And put it right here. Add a little dot of glue. Put it right here. And then I'm going to add one of these little ones and put it right in the center of the flower. And there we have it. Not bad. Look. Okay, let me show you how it looks on a journal. This one, if you remember, forever ago, this is my one and only, this is my very first journal that I made, Alice in Wonderland. If you want to see a flip through of this, I will link it down below. But let me just show you. And this journal is 7 by 5 1/4, just to kind of give you a reference of how big this is and compared to our little, let's do this one. So this is one of the longer ones, just to give you an idea of how big or how long this hangs. So putting it on one of these, let's do it this way. And then we'll just add this to the back here. And look at that. Perfect. See that? See how cute that is? And you still have room. So with the measurements I gave you, I'll go ahead and make sure that I add those to the description box down below. But there you have it. Isn't that the cutest thing? And now let me show you the smaller one. We'll do this green one that we just did. Add that here. Come on. Now I can't close the pin. There it is. And there's this one. Isn't that pretty? Just something different to have hang on the side of your journals. But I think it's absolutely adorable. Now, because it's Alice in Wonderland, totally could have made an Alice style blue and white, maybe little dress. I might do that. That might be fun. But there it is, you guys. How do you guys like them? Aren't they the cutest things? So let me go ahead and show you all of them. And I'll give you another little up close. So here's this one. And this is just a little gem, a flat back gem that I had. And I just glued that on. But because it's metal, you might want to use a little bit of either Gorilla Glue or E6000. And then hot glue. Use them both. And so like that, it stays on and it won't come off. Only because it's like metal. But here is the front and back of this one. And then here is this one, this little one. And this one was with the dress, the paper dress underneath it. This one I did do all the way around. Then there is this one. This one's the very first one that I made. The little cap sleeves. Aren't they cute? And then there is this one that we just made. Isn't that pretty? Love that. The back and front. And then our little one with the green. Cute, right? So there it is, you guys. These are all of them. There they are. Let's move everything. So let me know which one is your favorite. We have the pink, purple, I call this like a terracotta, green, and gold. Let me know which one is your favorite. And so that is it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that jazz, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.